I'm Emma.
And I'm Sharon, and you're in good company. Today, unfortunately, Karen's head wouldn't fit in this little frame with us, so we're trying to find somewhere else to film. So for today, it's just me and Emma. This is my friend Emma. She is living with cancer. The only reason she's here is because she's living with cancer. She drives me crazy otherwise. Emma, where do we start?
We start. Oh, got to remember the years now, don't I? 21, wasn't it? Yeah, 21. Around sort of April, May time. I was in bed and I literally just did that to the back of my neck and I thought, oh, that's a bit dodgy. Got a bit of a lump on the back of my neck. And then thought, actually, my glands have been up for quite a long time. Normally I ignore stuff like that because I don't really go to the doctors unless I'm dying, literally. So I booked an appointment to see the doctor. And I went in there and she sort of felt around and she just went, oh no, it feels like it just seems like a cyst. But she said a lymph node. So I was like, that don't sound right to me. So she said it should be alright in a couple of weeks if it ain't come back like that. And anyway, I left and it was doing my head in. I just couldn't get it out of me. I knew something was wrong. And I done a blood test. And then I thought, right, I'll go back for the blood test and see what that says. And I went back and everything was clear. And she said, well, this, as I said, it's probably just a cyst. And again, I left, but I was angry at myself that I left without saying anything. But by the time I'd got home, I'd convinced myself that I had lymphoma because it doesn't show up on the blood test, on your normal blood test.
Okay.
And then I phoned her, because it was on a Friday in the evening. I phoned her just before they were closing. And I said, look, I'm not being funny. I really do think there's something wrong with me.
Where's it all gone?
Where's it all gone?
We're back. Sorry about that. Some plonker didn't turn off their phone. Where were we, Emma?
I came home, annoyed that I didn't say anything, and I was convinced that I had lymphoma myself. And then I phoned, because it was late on the Friday, just before they closed, I phoned them again, and this was literally the doctor. I said to the doctor, I'm not happy with this result. I said, because I'm really worried it's lymphoma. I said, because obviously it doesn't show up on a normal blood test, so I wouldn't get that. And she said, well, what do you want me to do? And I went, I want you to test me further. I said, because there must be something you can do, isn't there? And she went, oh, literally. We'll have to come back in then, because I'll have to send you off for some more blood tests then. And then I'll have to set you up for a scan. So I was like, all right, fair enough. So I came in. I said, what are these blood tests for? What's the difference? Sorry, I keep tapping the table. What's the difference between this one and that one? She went, well, I've put some other things in there that might bring up anything. I went, right. So that was that. She put me through for the scan. It was at the, not the GP bit. It was at the other one in Hastings.
That walk-in.
This plaza thing.
Walk-in centre.
Yeah. And there was this girl, and she said, I said to her, right, I said, what can you see? And she said, well, it looks like it could be a sebaceous gland. She said, or it could be a cyst that's morphed into looking like a lymphoma, or it could be a lymphoma. And I was like, so you don't know what it is then? I said, can you please tell my doctor that, please, that you don't know what it is? Because if you don't, she's not going to send me for any further tests. And she went, yeah, no, it's not a problem. So I was like, right, okay. So I then booked back to see the doctor for the results. Nothing come back on the blood again. And I went in there and she said, I told you, it's nothing. She said, it's a sebaceous cyst. I said, that's not what the woman told me. The woman didn't know what it was. She said, well, Dad, look. And she showed me on the computer and it said sebaceous cyst. I said, it's not a sebaceous cyst, I'm telling you now. I said, I don't know what else to do. I said, I really don't know what else to do. So, sorry, backtrack. She's done the bloods. Then when I had the bloods, I said to her, I need to go back. Then we did the scan. Then we come back. She said, I don't know what else you want me to do for you. And I said, I want to know what's wrong with me. I said, because there's no way that this is thingy. So I left, and then I was waiting for the blood test. Sorry, they hadn't come back yet. And then within a couple of days, I started getting lumps here in my collarbone. And I phoned up, luckily I know the receptionist, and I phoned up and I spoke to her and she went, you all right, love? And I went, no. And I started to cry and I said, I've had enough. I said, there's something wrong with me, mate. I said, and I don't know what to do. Like I said, they're not listening to me. She went, right, do you know what? She went, I'll book you into the locum. She went, the bird that comes in and covers like when it's over busy or whatever. She said, she's in tomorrow. She said, I'll book you in after school, at my work. She said, and I'll get you in, you can see her. So I was like, oh, thanks, like, whatever. So I went in to see her, and she sat down, she went, I'm going to manhandle you a little bit. And she pushed really hard round here, and she checked the thingy and everything else, and she went, I'm sending you for a referral to ENT. And I was like, oh, what's a bit weird. Like, okay, fair enough. So I said, what's that for? She said, well, they can check, in case it might be a blockage or it might be something like that. So I said, all right, we'll probably say about 2 weeks maybe later, I went for the ENT thing, and again I sat down and he just touched, felt round here, and he just went, we need to do a biopsy. And then I shook then, I was a bit, do you know what I mean? And I was like, right, why? What do you think? And he said, I can't tell you. He said, until we do the biopsy, I can't tell you. So I said, all right, then. So now I'm panicking because I don't know what. I'm thinking, So I went out, and then I still know in my head it's lymphoma. I just knew. And then I had the biopsy. It fucking hurt. Oh, sorry. It flipping hurt. You can cut that bit, Karen, producer. And they done that. And then about a week or two maybe after that, I went back for the results of the biopsy, and I was sitting there and they just went, well, there's no really easy way to say this, you've got cancer. And I went, right, what have I got? We don't know yet. Right, do you know if there's any prognosis or whatever? No, we don't know. You're going to have a full body scan. And I was like, right, so how long's that going to take? Well, we don't know because they're quite busy, so right, so I don't know whether I'm going to live or die then, no? So I was with my ex at the time, we get on really well, and he come with me, and I was on my way home, and he said, right, we're going to go home and talk to Alfie, my son. And I went, no. And he went, why not? And I went, because I don't know what's wrong with me. And if I don't know, I can't tell him, because he'll just look up cancer and think I'm going to be dead. I said, no, I don't know. I don't know that. So I said, take me to the pub. So he took me to the pub, and I got absolutely pissed because I just didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to talk about it. Although my boss did ring me, and I said to her, look, they've told me it's cancer. She went, oh, Emma, I'm so sorry. I went, please don't be sorry. I said, what I want is you to have a sweepstake on the day I'm going to die. That'd do me in. And she went, oh, Emma. And I went, no, I'm allowed to say that. It's my cancer. I could do what I want. So that was that. I tried to make light, because it's a very heavy subject, and it's not. I'm one of them people, I don't like having everyone around me being put down or feel sad, or do you know what I mean? So I try myself to be positive and whatever. And then I literally didn't find out. I think when was it? I think that was end of June, that I got told I had cancer, and I didn't find out until mid-August. I took all that time to sit and wait and not know and everything else, doing my flipping brain in. And then I walked into the consultant's haematology, and I sat there, and he went, right, okay, so What it is, you're lucky because you've got the low grade. And I just looked at him and I went, what? And he went, has no one spoken to you? I went, no. I said, I've been waiting this long to come and see someone to tell me what's going on. I don't know. And obviously I broke down a little bit. I was like, I don't know whether I'm living or dying. I don't know whether there's like, whatever. And he said, you've got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's low grade, not high grade, which is better because that means it's slow growing.
Okay.
And at the moment, you're not in a position where you need any treatment. So it's called watch and wait, is what they say. So I was like, right, what does that mean? He said, well, it's incurable. He said, but not terminal. He said, so you could be like this for years and years and years and years and be fine. He said, but obviously if it turns nasty, then things change. He said, but it's not looking bad to me. He said, that's why I'm saying to you, it's going to be watch and wait. So I was like, oh, great, okay. And then from there, I started my sort of cysts, started to get slightly larger over the next few months. And I was feeling so like fatigued and I was really like tired all the time and everything else. And so then when I went back to the consultant, he said, I think it's time now we'd start. So just after Christmas, 22 Christmas, we started the chemo. And I didn't lose all my hair, even though you two sent me bald-headed pictures on my WhatsApp. That's how we go. This is how we fly, people. Nothing's a dodgy subject in our world. But yeah, so then that was that. And then I did this chemo and everyone kept calling me cockroach because I just ended up driving myself in the end.
Well, I've never actually seen anybody like look well on bags and bags of chemo.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah, because you was taking me the first couple of times. And then I was like, do you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm fine. I come out of there all right. I'll just get in the car and I'll come home. And you was like, you sure? I was like, yeah. Although I was coming for weekly dinners as well, wasn't I?
Yeah, well...
And then I looked too good, so she stopped.
She was putting on weight. Supposed to lose it.
As you can see, you'll see the picture later on. Yes, I'm a fat cow. But yeah, it's, so that was obviously the worst thing for me, obviously, was the kids. Like, how am I going to tell them? What are they going to think? I was desperate to not have to tell them, obviously. But I did it in a way where it was nothing. Like, it wasn't like, right, I need you to sit down, it's a really serious conversation. It wasn't like that at all. It was like, look, I've had bloods, they've come back, and they've said that I've got lymphoma. I'm alright, nothing's going to happen. I just got to watch and wait and see what happens. I said, and if I have to have chemo, it just means it's killing it off. That's it. And they both swallowed it in that sense. Obviously, I know that they were worried, obviously, but I didn't make it worse. Do you know what I mean? By being all, right now, come on then. It's very, we need to be really serious about this. We just all took the mick, basically. Yeah,
and for the record, obviously, Emma's got a daughter in her mid-20s and obviously a son, it was in his early teens when this all happened.
Yeah.
So it's probably a bit harder for him.
Yeah. I think he's very much, unfortunately for me, he's very deep, my boy, and he don't show a lot of emotion about nothing. He keeps it all in. So whether he was breaking down or what, he wasn't showing it to anybody. And that's hard from a like mum's point of view because you want to know so you can be there. Even with like my daughter, he wasn't even sharing with her really. Do you know what I mean?
Pause. I'm sorry.
Told you he was allergic to me. See, that's why I don't come round often, people.
So the kids got told, and you made yourself a little bucket list, didn't you?
I did. I'll swim with the dolphins. I did that. And then I'm going on holiday. I hadn't done that for 16 years.
Turn yourself a bit. You're gonna have to edit that out, but obviously, no. Look, see where they can see you. Just on the edge. Move in a bit.
Right. Okay. You can cut that bit, Karen. Yeah. So one of them.
Imagine you're talking to Kim here and me here, so you have to keep looking between the two of us.
Right. Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but my eye goes dodgy.
I don't know. She'll fix your eye out.
You put that in if you want.
I could put monocle on.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I was saying.
So you made yourself a bucket list after that?
Yeah, I did. One of them was I wanted to swim with dolphins since I was about 10, but it never happened. Always put things off. And the thing is, I sort of where I've always put everything else first. Like obviously you do your kids anyway. I sort of took a step back and was like, do you know what? I've got to start doing a few things for myself, like, and not feel guilty about doing it. Whereas before you would. Do you know what I mean? So I hadn't been on holiday for about 17 years actually by the time I did that. So I went to Tenerife was the first holiday, and within that year I went to Tenerife twice and I went to Turkey in 1 year, and that's where I swam with the dolphins, which was lovely. It was
I remember you doing some big old zip line.
Yeah, we went to me and the kids went to Cornwall, and we did the swing it's called Adrenaline Valley, I think, something like that. And there's a big swing which goes off of the cliff, and then we did the massive zip wire through the valley. We did loads of things, and then we went to like an otter sanctuary. Went to a butterfly. I've never been to a butterfly house, and I love butterflies, so that was my thing as well. So yeah, I did loads of things. I know it sounds stupid, but even my bathroom. My bathroom's been rank for flipping ages, and I was like, I want to get it done, but put it off. But then I was like, right, now I'm doing it, and I've done it. So it's possible to do so much more than you think you can, which is which I obviously didn't prioritise until this happened, and I'm peed off that I did leave it that long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wish I'd done it, but I even lost like mates over during the cancer thing. There's one that I've known for over 20 years. She just disappeared off my Facebook.
Oh.
It was madness. I've known her since I was 14. And then other friends that I've sort of made more recently, like some that I might have drunk with or I've gone out with on a Friday or something like that. I told them what was going on, and that was the last time I heard from them. I didn't even get a "you're all right, mate." Nothing. That was it. Literally.
How bizarre.
I know. You'd think they'd be coming round you and helping you and all that. And the thing was, in other circumstances, I did actually allow people to be there for me around that time. Other times I'd disappear for months because I just don't want to face no one.
Well, you've done that since.
Well, yes, I have. I have for a lot of obviously
I was
reasons.
just going to say that as much as you're always quite upbeat, when you're not, you disappear.
Yeah, because I don't want to be that person.
Um,
That's the main reason, anyway.
You disappeared for best part of 2023. From one end almost to the other. Because you'd found yourself in a bit of a depression. You obviously suffer with depression, and it got hold of you.
Normally I can get through it, to be fair. How I got through the cancer, I don't know, to be honest, because I'm surprised I didn't do that with that. But I just couldn't. I couldn't let it beat me. That was my attitude with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not having it. I'm not having it, son. It's Ken. I'll beat ya.
Well, yeah. So you do disappear and allow, you can't face depression like you faced cancer.
No.
How does depression become a bigger force to deal with than incurable cancer?
I don't know. I think because with the cancer, it's more, because it's a more physical thing and it's there, I think it's easier. Whereas depression, it's all in your head. And if you're sitting there and it's like someone wants to talk or they want to see you or whatever, it's like, I don't have to talk about my situation. I don't want her to have to ask me questions because then I'm going to end up being rude, or we'll have a row, or I'm just going to bring everyone's like buzz down. And I don't want it. I've never been that person. I've never wanted to be that person. And it's just, I mean, even at school, like when I was still working. Obviously, I'm working again now. But before I went off, I had a mate there. She was the only one that knew everything. Obviously, my bosses did, but out of friend-wise, whatever, or people that I worked with, she was the only one. And we'd be in the playground and she'll go, are you supposed to be... And I went, don't be silly, darling, I've got cancer. Like this. And she'll go, playing it out, babe, like this. But do you know what I mean? Because I couldn't do it any other way. I couldn't. It was just like, I said to someone, you better buy a barbecue because you'll regret that, wouldn't you? If something happens to me next year, you ain't bought that barbecue. And she went, oh, you cow. Like, well, you don't put that on me. And I went, well, I'm just saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, but just, yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be that person.
Yeah, it was very much in the beginning. Everything was. Well, I'm allowed because I've got cancer. No, you can't tell me off for that because I've got cancer. And by the time you'd been missing for a year, I wasn't. The cancer excuse was not flying anymore.
No.
So
I wasn't allowed that one anymore.
How do you think having cancer and living with cancer has changed you?
It's
in your outlook, towards life now.
I mean, obviously, I've got different things that have happened since June, but before that, it made me a lot more. It's made me a lot more determined, and a lot more. Rather than leaving things or thinking, oh, I can't, or I won't, or that ain't gonna happen, I know it can. So my outlook is totally different. Do you know what I mean? And also, again, it's changed slightly at the moment because of what's gone on previous. But it's also made me be that little bit, not selfish, I'm not going to say that. It's made me put myself a little bit more first. So I'm not...
You've always been selfish.
Well, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Let's face it.
You're just more selfish.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's made me think, do you know what? We've only got one life. And if all I'm doing is living for other people, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to look back, I'm in the pearly gates and I'm looking down, I'm thinking, I did nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But my kids are going on to do what they want to do. They're going to leave me behind and crack on. And they're at the age, especially now, where, I mean, Angel always was anyway, but they're at the age, especially now, where they can cope with me disappearing for like a few days or, a week to go somewhere, or, because they've got, like, he's got his dad, or, my daughter's old enough anyway, and things like that. So I don't feel guilty anymore. I had a big guilt thing about everything. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's a mum thing.
Yeah, and I don't have that as much anymore. I still have it, obviously, because like you said, it's a mum thing, but I don't have it nowhere near as bad as I did. Because I'd like, even, I'm not being funny, I'd go on Amazon and spend something for £5, this before, and I'd be like, oh damn, I can't afford that McDonald's now that I was going to get him, but I needed that £5 thing that I bought. But then I still feel guilty because I was going to... Do you know what I mean? And it's like silly little things like that I don't need to... I don't focus on anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't... It's still... I still look after them and all that, but it's just nowhere near as bad.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want it to be a case of I feel resentful towards my kids because I haven't done what I wanted to do, or, stuff like that. But the worst... I'd say the whole thing of it was the worst... I'll try and talk in a minute.
Stop there. Give her a tissue, she's got a bogey.
Where?
Up your bum.
Where? What side?
Oh yeah,
Side.
see.
I only scratched my nose.
That's what you've done, you give yourself a fucking bogey. By the microwave.
You couldn't see it on there, could you?
No, because you was facing this way.
What time you on? Try to work out what you can feel.
Time.
Right. Okay. Sorry, just had a booger. You know what I mean? Sort your nose out.
Right, where was you? What was you saying then?
Just like about basically just getting on with it, like just not feeling the guilt all the time about everything. And like even like say for instance from this point of view, friend wise as well, like if I had a fiver and someone needed it more than me, I'd give it to them and go without. Do you know what I mean? And I've always been like that. And not that I don't do that, but I'm not as...
Leave your nose alone.
Sorry. A certain... no, my boogers. But there's only certain people I do that for now. Whereas I'd do that for anyone before.
Yeah.
So it's made me wary of who's my friend and who isn't as well.
And kind of at that kind of time, you kind of some of them are evident, as you say, when they run.
Like, what is that about?
I have no idea.
Literally, since I was 14. And they moved here. They moved here from Croydon.
Followed you.
Obviously weren't a very good friend, was I?
Followed you to run away.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Obviously weren't a very good friend in the first place.
No, but I think times like that obviously show you in most situations that are, you know, things that get hard. That's when you know who the real people are.
No, absolutely.
You know, that's right. We was all cooking our dinners, traipsing it along the road.
Still got David's macaroni dish.
So
Even he did a drive by.
yeah. So so obviously when people react like that, it's something then you found hard to speak to people about, or you thought better of.
What you mean, confront them?
Or no, like just have the conversation about you having cancer.
No, because I think I see it. I see that in that sense that I shouldn't have to worry about what I'm saying. You're either there or you're not. You know what I mean? You're either my friend or you're not.
So you find it quite easy to talk. Well, I know she does. She finds
Yeah,
it
I
very
don't
easy
stop.
to talk about. As I say,
Lucky this is this short.
she get away with everything because she's got cancer.
I mean, it is, as I said, it is incurable, but obviously I'm at the moment.
So we're going to have
in
to do
remission.
this forever.
I'll be back. No, I'm in remission now, and I have maintenance chemo. That's every other month. Luckily, I didn't lose all my hair. I lost a lot of it, and I had to have it cut. And I had it dyed dark before I went and had the chemo, because I knew, whereas obviously I'm blonde normally, bleach and that, I couldn't have that once I started the chemo. So I look really dowdy and horrible. I don't do brown very well. Again, you'll see in the pictures. But yeah, that's it. I'll just, but I will say to people, if you feel like there's something wrong, don't let it go, because it's so easy for people in that profession to fob you off, or you to trust them, and unfortunately these days especially, they're not as good as they used to be. They're not as caring as they used to be. And I'm not slagging off every doctor in the world, because that's not fair, but unfortunately I had a really bad instance, and if I hadn't have known myself there was something wrong, then I'd have been fobbed off with a cyst, and who knows, I might not be here now.
So the message there is trust your instincts.
Oh, absolutely. Even if that means that there's nothing wrong at the end of it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The fact that you've got it checked and it's sorted is the important thing.
How do you think, or has it, the chemo changed your body, affected your body?
I'm tired all the time. Literally, I'm fatigued all the time. I get foggy, like memory-wise.
Brain fog.
Yeah, brain fog all the time. I go to work. I can only work part-time now, whereas I was full-time. Never had a day off before the cancer. And now I'm ill all the time. And I got told by my consultant, this is not the job for you, you need to get out. And I was like, oh, but I love it. I love my job.
Yeah, being around children and picking up
Yeah, but it's
germs all the time.
But because I'm good at it, I love it, and I get a lot out of it. Do you know what I mean? And I know I'm good for the kids that I work with. So sorry, that's a bit blowing my own trumpet, but no one else is gonna.
No, we ain't.
But yeah, I don't until I get to a point where it's like every week I'm off, or that sort of thing. Then I'm going to try and hold on for as long as I can. But obviously there will come a time where they have to take that decision away from me.
I was just going to say, they're okay with you dropping in and out when
Yeah.
when's okay.
At the moment.
Yeah.
But but they've been so supportive and so caring and everything else. They haven't made me feel an ounce of grief about if I am off. I mean, I went back on the 2nd of September, and then within literally, I think it was the first week, I had a day off. Then the second week, I had a chest infection and all that. Then that went wrong. And I was like, mate, I'm surprised they ain't tried to get rid of me already. Do you know what I mean? But they're so adamant for me to be there because I do have a good what's the word? I do good for the kids and everything else. That luckily they think I'm worth keeping. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't suppose it looked very good, eh? Sacking a girl with cancer.
No, but that's the thing though. It's not even that, is it? They can go through their processes.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to get rid of me, they could. But luckily for me, that at the moment they don't. And I'll give them their due. If it does come to that, they're going to have to do that. And I won't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think they was out of order.
I think the thing is, obviously, being around the children and all their germs, you are getting ill more often. You're having more than the average chest infections and colds and coughs. I mean, you've got a cough on you now like you've had for months, and I'm starting to think it's chemo cough. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't even know if I'm even allowed to say that. But so obviously the more that carries on, obviously you'll have to reassess yourself.
Oh, 100%.
At some point.
100%. But I don't see myself. I don't know what I'd do instead. I don't know what, when it comes to that, obviously I'll think about it, but I don't think I don't know. I really intensely love my job.
Yeah, I know you do.
And it's hard. It's hard to think about even giving it up. But if it's between my health and obviously,
then there's no.
I've got to do it. No, there ain't, because I've got to be here for my kids at the end of the day.
That's right.
And they're my priority. My kids are my priority, not other people's. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But all I can do is just carry on at the moment and just see what happens. Really.
That's right. Has this changed your thoughts on death at all? Like, do you still look at things the same way as you did before? Now, obviously, you lost your mum a few years back, and what Emma's referring to that's happened, she lost her niece last year, and obviously still in a grief cycle at the moment. Hence, where the depression got worse in the 2023, the missing year, is all to do with grief on top of cancer. So has that changed your from what you've gone through now? Does that change your outlook on death? And
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it sounds weird or not, but it's actually made me more fearful.
Has it?
Yeah, it's actually made me more fearful, because you're looking, when you're told that, you're looking at that in the face. And obviously I never thought that would happen, and I never thought that I just always thought, well, if I go, don't I? Do you know what I mean? Meant to be like that.
You mean before
this
before diagnosis, as in blasé?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, well, if it happens, it happens. It's fate, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Your path is your path and whatever else. But then when it was hitting me in the face, I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to die. Yeah. Like, so it made me more scared about dying, whereas I didn't think I'd feel that either. But that's what made that. It was that being told that, and then not knowing for 6 weeks or however long that you don't know whether that's happening or not. Yeah, and that, I think that was the worst. I think the not knowing stuff.
Yeah. Do you think you can ever be the Emma you were before cancer again? Do you think you've changed has it changed you?
I don't think I was that much changed before my niece. I think I've changed. I'm a little bit more withdrawn than I was. I'm not as mad as I was.
And you're saying that's the grief rather than the cancer?
Yeah, no, the cancer I don't think changed me much, to be honest with you, personally. But then you saw it.
Apart from
you saw
being
it,
more selfish.
Well, yeah, Yeah, I was a bit more selfish. I hold my hands up, man.
She was just jetting off everywhere.
I wanted life, yeah. But no, before that, I don't think the cancer actually, like I said, that, I don't know how to describe it. It was, I didn't think I'd ever, because my niece was like my daughter, she wasn't just my niece, do you know what I mean? And I've never felt so much physical pain in my life when she passed, do you know what I mean? And I can't, that just made me just, I don't know, I just didn't want to see no one, I didn't want to do nothing. And the thing is, I didn't want someone to talk about her, because who are you? Who are you talking about her for? Do you know what I mean? You didn't even know her, like, and I knew my attitude would be like that. I mean, a friend of mine sort of did a voice note and went, "Oh, it's a shame about, oh, it's such a shame, it shouldn't have happened to her, she's a lovely girl, Dan Dan." Who are you calling Dan Dan? That's my Dan Dan. I say Dan Dan, do you know what I mean? And I was fuming over that, and they meant no harm at all as being nice. So I knew whatever situation I was in, she would come up, because people can't help themselves. And not in a nasty way, but they can't. I'd probably be the same. But for me, I just didn't want to be around anyone that would ask me things, or would try and get information, or would, do you know what I mean? That was that. And I think that's, because of that, I've sort of withdrawn.
More and more.
Yeah, and I sort of am a little bit more reserved than I was, do you know what I mean? But the cancer didn't change that at all. If anything, I was worse with cancer. Because I was like, you ain't beating me.
Yeah,
I'm going to have this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
That's because you just thought you could get away with anything because you had cancer.
Well, no, because I just, you know, people bended to my will.
Yeah, you just thought you could get away with everything.
No, because you wouldn't let me get away with anything, mate. You tell me to my face, shut your mouth. Don't care if you've got cancer. But yeah, I just think that it was it's totally different. The grief has knocked me for 6, and then obviously I lost. Again, it's like I just take everyone out to make them my family, whatever. But then my Uncle Bill, who I loved dearly, but he was more like a dad to me than anything else. And then he passed away, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah. People were like, Pete, you know, God doesn't send you anything you can't handle. I've had enough to handle, mate. Do you know what I mean? Go away from me. I can't handle no more. So, and then I thought, oh, January, start a new year, everything happened just before, you know, thinking maybe I'll get a bit more positive and I'll get myself motivated and whatever. And then I'll get a flipping ear infection, chest infection, I'm laid up in bed. I was like, really? Do you know what I mean? Christmas was a nightmare.
Perhaps it's trying to slow you down a bit.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But I've slowed enough since June, thanks.
Well, yeah.
But,
maybe to look to do something like this, maybe, and get that out there and speak about what's been going on in your head rather than it going on in your head.
Maybe. But I think that my purpose for doing this was obviously to make people aware that, do you know what, you can't, like I said, you can't trust everything you're told, and you can't rely on other people's their diagnosis or whatever else. If you do feel anything in your gut, then push it all the way.
Yeah.
Don't put up with nothing. Don't be fobbed off. Don't work. Like I said, if I had done, I don't know how it would have progressed, and I might not have been here now. But that would have been because of the stupid doctor. But because I was so adamant, and I knew my own body, that I was adamant there was more wrong with me than there was. And I said, like I said, I walked out there that Friday and I was like, I've got lymphoma. That's what I think it is. And then I think, who was it I was talking to? I don't know if it was a mate or it might have even been my daughter. And she went, no, Mum, don't be silly. And I said, I'm telling you. I said, that's what I think I've got. I said, mark my words, like that. And then obviously then it come out that I did. But I didn't know the difference between Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's and all that malarkey. I never even thought about that. But obviously I knew that when I went in there. And eventually got told.
What is the difference? Do you know what the difference is?
Well, non-Hodgkin's is the one that's normally incurable. Forgive me if I'm wrong. This was ages ago. When I first got diagnosed, and the Hodgkin's lymphoma that can be fixed.
Oh, okay.
So you can be cured of that. But then, as I said, there's a low grade and a high grade, and if you're on the high grade, because it's going quicker, it's harder to kill off with the old chemo stuff. And I had the low grade, so I was, touch wood, one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
but it can swivel. But every time I have a blood test, I worry. Every time I go in and then I have my chemo, I worry. Every consultant appointment, I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm anxious all the time about stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't obviously want them to say, no, you know, whatever. But it is ongoing. It's never going to stop, because I can't just go in there blasé and be like, no, it's another blood test, never mind.
Yeah.
It's never going to be that. And I've never been the person that gets anxiety. I've always had depression, but I've been able to cope with it, and I've been alright. I've never been that bad as for this last 6 months. I wouldn't even say I was depressed through the cancer, to be honest. I don't even think I was.
No.
Because, but it was,
You did remain quite upbeat after the initial diagnosis, and we all cried, and then we kind of, okay, that's how it is. You need to be looking after yourself a bit better. You need to be eating properly and all them things. And then we kind of went back to normal, didn't we? Really?
yeah.
Apart
But it was
from-
good for me to do that, because then it
apart
weren't
from
an issue.
Just the chemo in the middle, everything kind of returned to normal.
Because I remember at one stage, and you said to me, why are you going with someone else? I'd have gone with you to the appointment, all this. And I said, because I want you to be my sanctuary. I don't want that to be about us, because we're not like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's always,
You're my sort of safe space is what I wanted.
Yeah.
So it weren't because I wasn't choosing you. It wasn't because I was, making someone else more important. It was purely because I just wanted this to be where I come round and have a laugh, and you can take the mick out of my cancer. And it don't, because that's how we roll. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing offensive. It's nothing nasty. And I'm your mate, and it's my cancer, so you do what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Other people might be offended by it, but that's up to them. But I didn't.
If we don't mean to offend anybody by just speaking
What's
like
happening with me hair?
It's falling out.
No one told me about me hair. Sorry, people.
But we're not making light of the the subjects. It's a heavy old subject, but we're just trying to tell it how it has happened.
Not for me,
because we have always tried to make things just as normal as they were before. If this is something you could live with for the next 50 years, we don't want to keep going on about it for 50 years.
No.
We can put it on the back shelf until it needs to be talked about because you're going chemo or something else has happened. But so we've always
make
tried
light
to
of stuff.
that,
We're not heavy people, because it's not. The thing is, I think the worst thing is when, don't get me wrong, there's other cancers and there's worse diagnoses.
Absolutely.
There's people are getting a 6-month flipping thing, or they're getting a year, or whatever, and I get that. I get that that's a serious thing and everything else. But for me, if everybody around me would have been really serious all the time and really, oh, how are you, darling? You all right? Do you need? I wouldn't have had no friends.
You'd have been really depressed.
Oh, mate, I would have got rid of all of you, because someone needs to take the mick out of me for some reason. Do you know what I mean? If it ain't for the cancer, it's going to be something else. So, because I love a bit of bants. Do you know what I mean? But that's how I got through it, was by my mates taking the mick and doing whatever.
That's what kept your spirits up. And to be fair, I kind of think if you had been on a more low vibration about it all, maybe the chemo would have affected you in a negative way, because as I say, you were eating, you weren't sick, you weren't losing weight, it was like it was like feeding a cockroach.
nothing was killing me, mate. That's what's happening.
Well, not that anyway. But so obviously since all that, what have you clung on to? What's given you your brought you comfort?
My mates that are my real mates, 100%, because I can't be without my mates, to be honest.
Only when she's at home for a year on her own.
Yeah, sharp. Anyway, move on. Or you get your mate knocking on your door telling you how to sort your life out, then that's a real mate as well. But yeah, I've that's 100%. The people now that are around me are my inner circle, like you said earlier. It's not really anyone. I know people, but the only people that I am comfortable being, comfortable being all right with, or a bit peed off, or a bit, you know, whatever, are my inner circle.
Yeah.
There's not many people that I can do that with, or I want to do that with, or even though they try and care and whatever, they're not really my friends. They're people I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, my friends definitely, and also the fact that, do you know what I mean? If I put my mind to it, I could do anything. Because before it was like, oh, I can't. Oh, I put that. Oh, and all the time, and I got nothing done. And then within a year, I got the bathroom done. Went on 3 holidays. Do you know what I mean? And whatever. And I was like, whoa, I'm living life, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that changed. So yeah, that just really them sort of things. I mean, obviously my kids, they go about saying, they'll always be my, you know.
Do they behave more now?
No, don't be silly. Well, my daughter's always been good, to be fair.
Yes.
I've been lucky with my daughter, but no, my son's a typical teenager, mate. He's a bit of a deeper. Do you know what I mean? He don't really show you what's going on, but he smells. He's
Typical boy.
Yeah,
Teenage
yeah.
boy.
15-year-old. He smells. He's you know, lazy. Does whatever, but he's lovely. He's got heart of gold, my boy.
Yeah, he is.
And he's there ain't not a lot I can moan about, to be fair, with both my kids, in all fairness. He makes me a cup of tea when I want it. That's enough. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's quite an achievement. Don't know that I got my 15-year-old ever.
Oh no, I was lucky. Both of them knew how to make a good cup of tea. They always knew that was important. But yeah, he's good. But no, I don't. I think as well, the kids have changed towards me in the sense of they like the fact that I'm doing things for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't make me feel a way about it, so I don't feel the guilt as much. Or I'll go, oh, I've been asked if I can go away for a week or something. Yeah, go on then. No, I know, but what about with you? No, that's all right. Go on, like, enjoy yourself. God, flipping hell, mum. Like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So they've seen me in a different light, I think, which is not a bad thing.
No.
That I'm going out and getting what I want to do and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully that they, you know, follow that up themselves. That they know that they can do stuff. So.
Do you think so for all this and for Danielle and Uncle Bill? Do you think it's made you more spiritual, or you know, anything, you know, has changed in that way for you?
I believed in all that sort of stuff anyway. Like, you know, there's another world and they've gone on to a better place and things like that. As much as I hate it that they've gone to a better place, I know that where they are is where they need to be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it still kills me anyway, and it will do for a long, long time. I don't feel it will take me forever to get over Dan and obviously Bill as well. But Dan was too young; she wasn't meant to go. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he was 93, so it was normal. Do you know what I mean? But with, I think I see things. I don't know if to say clearer. I don't know if it's clearer. I think it makes me see that everything's precious. Every day is precious. You know what I mean? You don't, because obviously you always have, what if I'd have said that, or what if I'd have done that, and I don't want that to be with anyone. And if I've got something to say, I want to say it now, not at your funeral. Do you know what I mean? And I think people don't do that, and they should. Yeah, no, exactly. And I because obviously there were things that I, you know, everyone goes through the what if, and there were things like that, and I just said to everybody, listen, you can't think like that. What happened was going to happen anyway. You know, is that if you'd have done this, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. Do you know what I mean? You can't think like that, because then you're feeling guilty about something you didn't do.
That was out of your control.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't do it. And I've, you know, for a split second I thought the same myself, but I pushed myself out of it because I done what I'd done because I done it. Do you know? And it was the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to happen, you know, 6 months down the
that's
line.
Right.
But it's made me think about that, the spiritual plane, I think a little bit more. To the point of, I know like Dan's around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we said with the thing, with the weirdest thing ever, you met her, and same day on her birthday, both of our lights were flashing in each other's houses.
Lights,
yeah. That's mad. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, that just little things like that, and it just opens you up a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? To whatever's going on up there, really, or wherever it is, in the outer space, whatever. But yeah, I think that, as I said, the good thing is, as I said, I'm in remission. I still have my maintenance, but I've only got that for a little while longer now. That'll stop soon. I think it's probably about July time. I'll end up finishing that.
And then they'll just monitor that.
Yeah, just be again watching weight sort of attitude. Have my bloods every couple of months or whatever. And then and just carry on living my life, really, and being as positive as I possibly can. So
that's what's next.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, I'm looking, because I still want to have something to do with the special needs side of things. If I do end up having to leave my job, which, as I said, I love, and I know I'm good at it. I know it's a big, trumpet blowing situation, but I don't care, because that's one of the biggest things I can be confident in, is I know I'm good at my job. I would still like to be able to put my hand in somewhere, so whether it be like you do the coffee mornings for, Not My Shame, company, I maybe would look into possibly doing something like that for mums around in the area with special needs children.
Good idea.
Obviously, I can't give them advice and stuff because I'm not qualified in that sense, but it could be a space where people could swap ideas
like a
and
community group.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Coffee mornings,
yeah, just ideas maybe to help with situations, or little things like that. Because there's not enough support around.
No, most definitely isn't.
No. But that'll be the next podcast anyway.
Okay, yeah, you've heard it there. So
come and bore you some more.
As I said earlier, we've not meant to offend anybody. Please don't be offended. We're two people that have known each other a long time, and obviously, as much as it's Emma's journey, we've been on the journey with her. And just if you haven't got anyone to talk to, or you are feeling that you've just been diagnosed with something like this, please go and find someone that you can talk to, even Samaritans. Don't be on your own.
No, that's the worst thing. That is the worst thing, I would say. And I'm not one to reach out and whatever, but when I got diagnosed with the cancer, it was the best thing ever to have people around me. And I mean that. And I'm hard work. Do you know what I mean? They know that. I am hard work. But with that, I couldn't have got through it. I couldn't have got through it without having my mates and someone, as I said, I'm a banter person. You might not be. You might be a little bit more emotional and need that kind of support, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone's got their own journey. Everyone's got their own way of doing things. Yeah. Me personally, I needed my mates around me to just take the mick, basically, and then you know what I mean. That's what was good for me, and it was all with love. It was nothing horrible.
That's
it was
right.
all with
Everything's
love.
been said here today with
absolutely
all love.
And I couldn't have wanted for better mates at the time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I honestly, if you need to speak to anybody or you feel like you're on your own or whatever else, there are people out there that you can talk to. Do you know what I mean? There are places like you said, Samaritans. You could even St Christopher's Hospice, Macmillan's.
I think.
Yeah, all of them kind of places can give you counselling, or they can give you advice or whatever.
Signpost you at least in the right direction.
Absolutely. But yeah, I was lucky. I had good mates around me, so that's where I went.
So, do you have a positive message to leave the people with?
Yeah. You can do whatever you set your mind to. You really can. And I was one that didn't do things at all. And don't let it get to some point in your life where it's make or break and then you choose to do what you want. Do it now. Don't leave it. And you'll find your you'll get so much more out of life and so much more things done, and you'll feel more accomplished if that's what you do.
Time is the most precious thing we have.
Oh, absolutely.
And we take it for granted for a lot of the time.
Well, I was 45 until I realised... Well, 44, sorry, until I realised it. So that was way too long for me, and I wish I'd sorted that out when I was in my 20s, at least. So don't do that. Just whatever you want to do, put your mind to it and get it done. There's always a way.
Thanks for talking to us today, Emma, and thanks for listening, guys. As I say, this has all been with the utmost love, so please don't be offended by anything that either of us have said. We're we do these when it doesn't work. I don't know. It does not work.
What was it meant
It's
to
supposed
do?
to send hearts up everywhere on the screen.
Oh, man.
But I don't think it works.
No.
Anyway.
No.
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 Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.